my mom. My mom actually was a dancer growing up, and she went to Brockport, and she danced in Brockport. So she always put me in dance when I was younger, and even at one point when I wanted to quit, she was always like, "No, you're so talented. Like keep going, keep going." And my mom actually ended up going more into education and psychiatry, and so something that she's always kind of kept in her life, but wasn't able to fulfill it professionally. So I always felt like, you know what, I'm gonna kind of take the reins on this and I'm gonna follow through. And she's always been like my inspiration because she's always worked hard, kept dance as a part of her life, even though she kind of changed her direction a little bit after her undergrad. But for sure, my mom. Well, they're all a little different depending on the technique, but typically you would have a warm up, then you'd have some type of progression across the floor, and then you typically would have some type of combination or movement pattern that comes from it. Some people do improvisation where you're just kind of moving, but that's like the typical structure of a dance class. So dance is super important. I worked with Propel Charter Schools for over 5 years, and they were typically in urban environments with children that had bad home lives. And a lot of kids were had IEPs. A lot of kids had really dysfunctional homes where they had parents in and out of their life, or they were in middle school taking care of their younger siblings, or their life was just very chaotic. I realized with teaching dance that it was something for them to express themselves without having to speak their pain. And so that was something that was really beneficial for me to watch. And it was also helpful for them in a therapeutic way, because sometimes you don't want to talk about the things that are happening in your home, but you want to be able to still feel it. And so dance in urban environments, dance for children that have disabilities, dance for children that have emotional support issues is really beneficial and therapeutic for them, because they don't necessarily always have to like verbalize what's going on with them, and then they still get this sense of like being free. And another component of that is with dance, just with other performing arts, they don't have to constantly focus so much on like the right and wrong. Like with math and science, it's right or it's wrong.
Right.
With dance, with music, it's more of a feeling. Like, how does this feel to you? You get to be kind of objective on your own. And I found that students that didn't do as well academically really did well in the performing arts classes and in dance, because they were able to kind of like be themselves and kind of create their own curriculum, so to speak. I had the privilege of dancing in a company where like 5 of us all went to college together, and then like 2 of us like kind of grew up together, and it only lasts for 4 years, but that's a time I will never take back, and it's just like to be able to be so vulnerable with people that you know and have that type of trust on stage, and be able to look at someone and just like know that that's like your friend, and know that you have a connection is really hard, and it only literally comes once in a lifetime. Some people don't ever get to experience that as a dancer, but I can like honestly say like I was able to dance with like my best friends. Dance means peace. I feel like being a mom and a wife and teaching and running around, I don't really have time for myself. So being able to go to a studio is a lot more of an internal and peaceful feeling than before. Before I had a family, and before I taught and like worked and was like in this like big girl world, dance was always more like performing for an audience. Like, oh, I can't wait to work with this choreographer and do these steps. Now for me, dance is just a piece